Hi, I'm Mike Lucas. I'm superintendent of Westside Community Schools in Omaha, Nebraska. Thanks for participating in this year's State Education Conference. Here at Westside, we take a lot of pride in the amazing students that we get to work with every day. 6,000 students here in the heart of Omaha, and we have some amazingly talented young people. So our session is involving student voices at the district level. We're going to talk about several different strategies that we put into place in the last year and a half. We're going to start off with Terry Hanna, who is an amazing leader at the Westside Foundation, and he has some ideas that we really put into place this past year and had a lot of fun with our students. Terry, take it away.
Thanks, Mike. To my left, you're right, we have Charlotte Murphy, who's a sophomore at Westside High, and Charlotte and a few other students approached myself and district leadership on sports marketing. And sports marketing is a $470 billion industry every year, and we have a lot of students that are interested in sports, if it's sports management or anything to do with sports. And so when they approached us, we wanted to bring experiences to them, because real life experiences is what sells to a lot of people. And so I'll have Charlotte just talk about kind of how she got involved.
Well, one day on Twitter, I just saw it was like, "Do you want to be a part of this sports promotional group?" And I was like, "That sounds fun. Like, I like sports and I like the marketing type of thing." So I went to the meeting and there were donuts. So of course I was hooked, and since then it's been a lot of fun, and I've really gotten involved with it, and it's become like a fun part of my life. Every Friday I'm at a game doing some sort of promotion.
And what's your mission?
Our mission is to create the ultimate Westside fan experience and just make the games more like a college experience, and just make sure everyone, not just the high school students, are engaged and want to be at the game, like even the elementary school kids and stuff.
So what's the best part of being part of Promotion 66?
Well, the best part so far has been just like getting to know people and getting to know like the student section and everyone, and like seeing people's faces when you go up to them and hand them a gift card, or like see their faces when they see the t-shirt gun come out, and like everyone's up and cheering for that, and it's just been really fun to see.
And another neat aspect to Promotion 66 is Charlotte and other students, they have complete control over the ideas, the game management. I mean, we've got someone in the press box, we have people on the field, we have people interacting with the stand. So it's really showing them this is what goes on in the real world, and have them experience it. And if it's something that they want to move forward with going into college and everything, it's a great experience. So what's the best part about being part of this?
The best part is probably just seeing people's like faces when they see something fun happen. Like the other day, there was the Matt Durango from the UNO Mavericks at the game, and people were like pointing, and they're like, "Look, there's the Maverick," and they're freaking out, and it was just so fun to be like, "Oh, I'm a part of that. Like, oh, I helped him get here," and that's awesome to see, and it's just it's fun to watch play out.
So what advice would you give to other schools around the state who may want to do something like this, or another club that might involve sports?
Well, what I'd say to them was, you need to make sure you have a group of really committed people. Obviously, we have what Mr. Hanna said. We have someone in the press box. We have someone even on the live stream team making sure that like the people at home can see what's happening. And so just make sure you have a really committed team and that like is super involved, and we just have some fun with it.
Right, and then to add on to that, it's really key to get community members involved as well. Obviously, Dr. Lucas and his management team is involved, but we also got a few community leaders who might have connections within businesses around the area that could help support these kids with the different opportunities. So that's really key to really anything, is make sure you have community support. And then, what's a big success your group has had so far? And then I can build off of it.
Okay, well, so the foundation came to us and they said, we talked to Jimmy John's and they got you kind of a lot of money, and so we just, Jimmy John's, we have this promotion with Jimmy John's, and it's just kind of, we're into it, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Not really, yeah.
Hey, it's a lot of fun, right?
It is a lot of fun.
So when we approached Jimmy John's on this idea of creating Warrior Gump, which is a fictitious character within District 66, and Warrior Gump's in everybody, in every student. You know, it's someone who wants to be great at something. You can be great at anything you want to do, be the best you can be. And so we've created this fictitious character, and Jimmy John's funded a professionally produced video that's in post-production right now on Warrior Gump going around the district. And so they've been part of this from day one, and all their promotions are surrounded by Jimmy John's. And it's just really cool to see a company, a nationally known company like a Jimmy John's, who are investing into students and to our school district because of an idea that they came up with.
And considering that it's just a high school, it just makes it so much cooler, because I don't think that big of a chain would just give any random high school the opportunity like this. And because it's Jimmy John's, Warrior Gump is #freaky-fast.
And of course, you know, Charlotte and a lot of the others, they all like their slim ones and everything. So, you know, they're obviously great customers as well. So that is our, I guess, presentation on Promotion 66. If you have any questions. Anybody else?
Thank you guys very much. That was great. So we appreciate it. And again, our social media channels, is it at Warrior Promotions?
It's at 66 Promotions on Twitter.
At 66 Promotions on Twitter. So follow along and see how our amazing student group leads our charge here in the next coming months. So we'll, thank you. So we'll move on to the next part of our presentation. All right. All right. One of the other things that we have here at Westside that we're super proud of, we have a student advisory council for the Board of Education. So this student advisory council meets with our Board of Education and myself once a month prior to a board meeting each month. And we're wonderfully just gifted to be able to have so many amazing student voices to hear from. So with me today, we have Camille, who is a senior at Westside High School, and Nathan, who is a sophomore. Nathan, I'm gonna let you come over here. And they are two of the student members that we have on the Board Advisory Council. And they're gonna tell us why they were interested in applying, what they like about it, and some objectives and goals that they have from the student perspective working with our board. Camille, ladies first, we'll go with you.
Hello. I originally applied to be on the Student Advisory Council because I was just interested in the behind the scenes work that the board does, and I was really interested to just observe, even if I didn't get to do a lot. But as a member, I've really excuse me, gotten to interact with them a lot and get to know the members, and it's very interesting, if nothing else. But in addition, I've gotten to expand my environmentalism and get my school involved. And one of my goals for being in this group is to implement a composting program, at least at the high school, if not at a district-wide level. Some of our elementary schools already compost, so I thought I would bring up the idea of expanding that.
Awesome. Nathan, what about you?
Yeah, so I am a connection between like students and the board, you know, to have that bond to make the school a better place has been something I've always thought has been just a really good idea, you know. I was like, man, what if that existed? So I saw the email about it, and I'm like, this is something I want to do. This is something that, you know, I think I could make a change in. I joined it because it's a great opportunity to expand your role, your help and benefit in the community and the district. And it's just a really great way to hear, like you said, what's going on behind the scenes, and hopefully, if not, make a change. I like it because it helps us grow closer and form a strong bond between how the students feel and how the board feels about an issue. And I feel like due to the creation, this district's gonna be a lot better place in these next couple of years. And I hope it continues strong and many people see this and they think the same thing I did. Personally, goals for me is I was really focused on making like student life easier, especially during this COVID time, when you know you got people at home, you got people here 50%, and it's crazy. And so one of the things I really wanted to help with was, you know, making things accessible, making teachers easy to talk to, you know, get the help you need when you're at home, when you're at school, and I feel like we can do a good job. But this board has thrown out many really good ideas, like she said, with the composting and other important things such as like mental health and safety, which are really important. So I think, like I said earlier, this could be a really, really impactful thing, and I hope it continues to be for many years.
All right, stay up here if you would. And we're actually filming this on Monday, November 16th. We're getting ready for a board student advisory council meeting at 5:30 and then a board meeting at 6:30. Our agenda for tonight is actually to talk about our class rank proposal with our student advisory members. We want to talk about what's our second semester at-home extended campus option looks like, and then get an update on COVID protocols and those things from our students. So we'll also be talking about available student mental health supports and resources. That was an idea brought from the students last month. So we love to be able to have two-way communication with our students and talk about things that are on their mind, right? Because for board members across the great state of Nebraska and superintendents and school administrators, we're in the opportunity business. It's our job to provide opportunities for our students, and we are thrilled to do so. So thank you very much. If you guys want to leave, and we'll have Mrs. Beth Morissette come up. Beth Morissette is a board member, a Westside grad, and an amazing consultant, and just all around wonderful person. And she's going to talk from the board's perspective why the board wanted to begin this student advisory council and what she sees as a benefit from her boardsmanship. And she's actually was just recently elected and started her second 6-year term. So Beth, thank you for being here, and just wanted to have you talk to fellow board members and school administrators across the state about why you wanted to see this student advisory group get going, and then what your thoughts are.
Yeah, perfect, wonderful. Thank you, Dr. Lucas. How much time do I have? Okay, so appreciate being here today and sharing a little bit about Westside's story when it comes to student voice. The Board of Education became, we've always been fascinated and identified the importance of student voice when it comes to the impact that our decisions make in the boardroom, even though we're not in the buildings every day or at the high school. But what's important is that we know that the choices that we make influence and impact the education of the students across the levels of education. We had, what started this group is that we had a student at the high school had started a letter to get other input from other students about the importance of having student voice when it came to some of the decisions that the board was making. We had board members that reached out to the students. We were able to have some good conversations. And the student and the board recognized that, yeah, we could probably work better together. We could probably listen to each other more often. And that it was more of also the students wanted to better understand what goes on in the boardroom, understand the thoughts and the processes and the information that goes into the decisions that we make. And so what happened was that was then taken from the board to the superintendent, talking about what could this look like. And with that, it was enthusiastically embraced by the superintendent, by the board, and also by the students to say, what could this look like, and what would we do if we were to start meeting regularly, just so we weren't meeting to meet, but so that was productive in what we did together. So during that, the first year that we did applications, we posted it during the first semester of the 2019-2020 school year. We had 17 applications into the program. We ended up selecting a total of 9 students to participate in the Student Council Advisory. We had 3 seniors, 2 juniors, and 3 sophomores choose to participate in it. During that time, we meet once a month, and we listen. The first meeting is to really understand what's important to our student body. During that first session that we had last year, we had several students that shared about the importance about the environment. What are different ways that we can be more mindful of how we impact our environment, and what are things and strategies that we could take as a school district to improve the environment as a whole. We also talked about the importance of computer science and what we needed to do to help strengthen that program, because one student, I remember very strongly his passion for computer science and how he really believes that that's the future for his his generation, and that people should have more opportunity for it, and that we really also need to increase the diversity and inclusion in that curriculum offerings when we look at the students that do participate. We also talked about, during that time, the district was looking at shifting from laptops at the high school level to iPads, and it was, imagine this, a difficult conversation at times. Some people embraced it, some people I love my laptop. So we were kind of all over the map. And the students that were in the Student Advisory Council really gave us really important input at the board level. And the board was able to ask them questions about it and better understand what their concerns were. And it was all the way down to specific classes. That they were concerned that they would have an option to access different applications, and that could impact their learning opportunities. And then also during those meetings, it's not just the board and the superintendent and the students, but we also have others in the room, such as Dr. Lindgren, who helps us with our technology. He was able to help answer questions, so was Dr. Lee, and help explain what they saw as the benefits to it, and then hear from the students themselves. Even though they go out and they get student input other ways, that was just one way for the board to directly see and hear the interactions between the different professions in our district. Then also, COVID hit last year too, during this time. And we only had a few meetings with the student council and student advisory group before we had to slow things down, and we went to 100% online learning. We were unable to meet in person again with that student advisory council, but we did want to hear what it was like, their impact was with COVID and with the extended learning campus. They gave us tremendous input on what it's been like, what it was like during that time. They are so articulate. They were able to identify how it impacted them personally, and also they were able to identify how it impacted their fellow students. And they gave us input and insight into what we needed to consider as we move forward with the 2020-2021 school year, and what we needed to do to help support their learning as we move forward, which was incredible feedback. This year we've had a couple of meetings already. One of the students, or several of the students, talked about the mental health concerns that we have. Many of us have that concern when we look at COVID and the impact it has had in our student lives, in our family lives, and that it's a real concern, and we need to continue to have conversations and talk about how we support each other during that. And the students were able to really articulate some of the stuff that they're seeing around mental health, which is really informative and helpful for the board to hear as well as the administration. And then tonight, it's exciting because we have another student council advisory meeting tonight. And what we are going to hopefully talk about tonight also is our proposal to update class rank based off of what what more are doing across the U.S. And so we decided we wanted to take that information, because it had been presented to the board as a recommendation to change the ranking of the classes, or the class rank. And we said, you know what, we have the Student Advisory Council, let's get their input. And this year we have freshmen as well, so we're getting all the grades represented. We have a great mix of diversity in the group. So this will allow us, what our goal is with tonight's activity is to break up into small groups. We have just a few questions we're going to ask the students. We're going to have each board member be with the small group and really allow for small conversation and all students to have an opportunity to share their voice about what they think about class rank. And what questions they still have that remains about it, and what they see as pros and concerns for them. So again, the board will be able to, along with the administration, to really hear from a diverse group of students about what's going on. All right, Dr. Lucas.
Hey, thank you, Beth. Great info. Thank you so much. If you have any questions about our Student Advisory Council at the board level, feel free to reach out and email us. Our website is westside66.net. Westside66.org, or email lucas.mike@westside66.net. We'd be happy to share info. Next up is going to be Adam Yale, who is our board president. Adam is in his first term as school board and does an amazing job helping to lead our district. He's going to talk about First Friday feedbacks. This is something that we implemented last year. We haven't had them this year due to the global pandemic. But First Friday feedbacks are another way that we try and reach out to our students, staff, and community to have their voice heard. So, Mr. Yale, thank you for being here, and we'll talk First Friday feedbacks.
Sounds good, thank you. So I'm Adam Yale. I'm in my 5th year on the school board, and I am here to talk about our First Friday feedback sessions with really students, but the public as well. So last year we initiated First Friday feedback one Friday afternoon a month at the high school. It was open to anybody, but we did it right after school because we wanted students in the room, we want staff in the room. We invited and had lots of community members attend as well. We had a lot of admins, both district admins and building admins at those meetings. And so it was a good chance to get a bunch of people in a room and just talk. So typically how they worked is there would be a short session, maybe the first 15 minutes, where Dr. Lucas would get up and talk about sort of issues of the day. That might have been a quick discussion about standardized test scores, or about Westside's budget, or about new class offerings in the coming year, or the introduction of our student advisory council. It was just a little bit of an icebreaker to sort of talk about, here's what we're thinking about currently. And then after that, there was just really a chance to have an informal conversation with students, parents, and staff. And so I just sort of tried to recall some examples of what got discussed, but one of those days we had a former parent who had seen a lot in the news and heard a lot about budget cuts that had to be made over the past few years. And so her suggestion to us was, why don't you audit your property needs, and if you have any miscellaneous property that you do not need, you should sell it off and use that to cover either operating expenses or capital expenses. So that did help us start to take a little bit more critical eye toward our fiscal plan. We had a group of students tell us how they were thinking about higher ed and its high costs. And so that conversation, for me personally, really helped solidify the importance not only of our AP programs, but also dual enrollment. And specifically, dual enrollment was allowing a lot of these students to come into college with a lot of credit and hopefully reduce the amount of tuition that they were going to have to pay over their college careers. One student that I got to know there who showed up every time was very passionate about becoming an elementary education teacher. And so he described to me, often in detail, sort of what we offered on that front, and the fact that he could go shadow teachers in one of our elementary schools, and he was able to do that a few semesters running. He may have been the first one to do so. And so gave me an opportunity to learn a little bit more about really the intricate details of some of our programming and what incredible programs that we really offered. And being that we're in education, it was gratifying to know that we were also trying to produce the next generation of educators. He also gave me a lot of grief for being a Michigan Wolverine and wore his Ohio State sweatshirt to every First Friday. And I don't know if you've seen the results of Ohio State-Michigan football games in the past several years, but needless to say, none of them have gone the Wolverines' way. Finally, we had an instance where teachers were able to actually work with senior administration and solve some scheduling issues. And it was just through that informal conversation that people were able to flesh out, what the challenge was, how to go approach it, how to go fix it, and so I think there are benefits there as well. So in summary, I think these informal gatherings help the board get to know our students, staff, and community better. They also help student, staff, and community get to know the board a little bit better. And so oftentimes they could understand A, what the board was working on, B, the why behind certain decisions that maybe the board had not necessarily articulated so clearly or had enough time to articulate properly. And so I think when you throw those sorts of things into the recipe, I think it gets everybody pulling in the same direction just a little bit better. And so, finally, it was fun. Got to meet some incredibly talented students, some longtime parents, patrons, and residents of the district, and got to have deeper conversations with some of our incredible teachers and staff. And so there were benefits all around. Thank you very much.
All right. Thanks, Adam, very much. And it's neat, as superintendent here, the student that Adam was referring to is actually employed as an educational assistant for us at one of our elementary schools. So that it's kind of neat to grow your own. Last but not least for our presentation, we have Dr. Megan Van Gelder. She's also in her first term as a school board member, Westside alum, and does a great job. We have an amazing school board here. She's going to talk about community coffees and lunch and learns. These are activities that we host each quarter to showcase what our students and staff are doing throughout our district. So Dr. Van Gelder.
Hi, thank you. Yeah, so the Lunch and Learn and our community coffees are both of them are a great opportunity for many stakeholders, such as our current parents, prospective parents who are thinking about having their children come to Westside, as well as stakeholders who may no longer have children in our schools. And Westside has almost 80% of its community members have no children in their home. So this is a great way to bridge our schools out into the community. The purpose for the Lunch and Learns and the community coffees are about the same. It's to showcase the work that our teachers and staff and students are doing. It's also a way to inform and just connect to our stakeholders. The locations of these happen within our school buildings, so people can come see what a school looks like if it's been renovated or a new building. It's wonderful to open the doors so people can see where their tax dollars are going. And the agenda might look something like this. We have the students from within that building may come and present some of their curriculum projects that they have made, some art, singing, band, and they present. And many times those students are very honored to be selected. It's often the principal who chooses them, and they then get to practice their communication skills and being confident in front of an audience. And it's a great icebreaker, and it's a great way for people who are not in our buildings every day to see the good work that our students can do. And then after that, the district leadership will provide some updates broad updates about the district so that people can hear what's going on in a whole about Westside. And this might last for a total of 30 minutes or so. And then following that will be a tour of the building. Some of the administrators and teachers will show their classrooms, and these people can walk around the building, see the learning that's taking place right then and there. Of course, when COVID hit, challenges arrived, but that's what one of our famous board members, Beth, calls forced innovation. So we have taken to Facebook Live, and so we had a recent community coffee on Facebook Live. It was outside, it was safe, and we got to watch fifth and sixth graders and band get to play, and you could just see the joy that these kids got to have playing their instruments again and safely doing so. So we will be sending you a link of this most recent community coffee that took place on October 8th. So thank you very much.
All right, thanks, Dr. Van Gelder. So yeah, to wrap it up, we will, with this recording, we'll have a link that'll take you to the Facebook Live link of our October 8th community coffee. that we had over at Oakdale. That was shorter than our typical model just because of, something called COVID-19 and other things. So thank you for watching our presentation. To all the school board members out there, thank you for your service to your community, your school system, and most importantly, the children of your community. This is my 18th year as a superintendent in the great state of Nebraska, and it's certainly been the most challenging. So school board members, you don't get enough appreciation and support for the commitment, the difficult decisions that you have to make on a monthly basis. And so from a superintendent, just want to say thank you. Keep up the great work in your communities. Your students need you more than ever. Have a great conference and a great holiday season.